Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well. Today, we are going to be breaking down the absolutely diabolical, arguably the worst performance of the season so far. The Tottenham 2, Bodo Glimt 2 match in the Champions League last night, where I was getting so frustrated with about 90% of that team. We'll get into things, we'll break things down, we'll do some analysis, we'll look at the stats, we'll look at who played well and who didn't. Funny enough, more didn't play well than did, considering it was the worst performance of the season. But, guys, as always, please do make sure you are doing those three magical things when you come into the stream, which is to hit the like button, to turn on the notification bell if you are new, and to subscribe if you are new. We're on the way to 5,000 subscribers, and you're going to have to all excuse me for my raspy voice today because I haven't been very well. But it's only Tottenham that doesn't make me feel well, I think. It must be. But as you can see, I am joined alongside Thomas Frank, who I don't know what you're thinking, guys, but wrong team selection yesterday. But I'm joined alongside Thomas Frank's AI son, Frank Thomas. Yes, that is his real name. Frank, how are you doing today, mate? And just very quickly, thoughts on that game yesterday?
I'm all right. I'm actually quite content with the result. I said the other day I would have taken the draw, and I think the draw is a decent result. I think if I have to read one more idiot on Twitter writing, "Oh, Ange won that game last year," then I think I might actually deactivate my Twitter because it's driving me insane. The result isn't a bad result, I don't think. I think a point away in the Champions League is decent. The performance, there's a lot more to question and a lot more to be slightly concerned about. But all in all, I'm all right after last night. I'm quite looking forward to Leeds on Saturday now.
I'm glad you're looking forward to the Leeds game, mate, because I think that's a banana skin waiting to happen. But we'll get into the Leeds game maybe in a day or two. We got a bit more time before the Leeds game. Expect to stream tomorrow or probably on Friday, previewing the Leeds game. But guys, we are going to get into things. We are going to get into the tactics boards. In fact, before we get into the tactics boards, we'll just get up that the performances. This is courtesy of, I believe, is it FootMob or SofaScore?
Yeah, FootMob.
FootMob. And these are the ratings that they gave them. Just to quickly, I should have brought up my ratings as well. These are way, way, way too high, in my opinion. How Odegaard is a 7.6 and Van der Ven is an 8.1. I mean, no one on that team should be over 6.5, in my opinion. Frank, do you agree?
I thought Odegaard had an all right game. I thought he tried things. I thought he worked quite hard. I thought he was the best of the front three, but that's a real low bar. I thought Bergvall probably should have been slightly higher than he is. I thought he had a decent game, actually. The centre halves were okay. I mean, Porro being a 7.3. I mean, if Porro's a 7.3, then I think Richarlison was man of the match. I mean, that's sort of, Porro was dreadful, I thought, yesterday. So I'm there's some of them I'm a little bit. Some should be a little bit higher, some should be a little bit lower. But all in all, I think they're probably okay. I mean, let's say Mickey was probably our best player, so it probably checks out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly going into that game when we had the starting 11 of, the starting line of Odegaard, Richarlison, and Johnson in the Champions League. I don't care who we're playing, whether it's Bodo Glimt, whether it's Real Madrid, or whether it's in between. That front three for me in the Champions League, Frank, is not good enough. I'm going to probably go on a few rants today, despite my raspy voice. But I honestly do not think that is a good enough starting 11, but definitely not a good enough front three. Do you agree?
Yeah. It's a long way off. Richarlison, I'll talk about later on. I'm totally fed up with him, to be brutally honest. I said to you privately earlier on that I think he's probably up there with one of my least favourite players to have ever played for the club, and that really says something. I'm like totally fed up with him. Brennan Johnson, I always feel like should offer more than he does. Goal scoring, he's fantastic. Aside from that, his general game is pretty dire. And Odegaard tries things, but you never actually feel he's going to hurt you. And we didn't look somewhat threatening until Kudus and Xavi Simons came on. So, there's a real gulf in class, I think, between those two that came on and those three that started, sadly.
Yeah, absolutely. Things definitely did change when when Xavi and Kudus did come on. I'm going to pick up a couple more points on the lineup. For me, Bentancur 7.2 is absolutely rubbish. I thought Bentancur was absolutely horrendous yesterday. I don't know what he's doing in terms of sliding in and absolutely clattering the Bodo player. It wasn't even in a dangerous position. I can't even remember who gave the ball away before that, but Bentancur has had an absolute stinker yesterday. I don't want to hear anything different on that one. I know he was involved in the disallowed. Well, he scored the disallowed goal, didn't he? But I mean, Frank, I know we were discussing it in the morning about, you were buzzing that his contract's getting renewed. And I said, I think that is absolute waffle. I don't actually think Bentancur is an incredible player. He gets a lot of plaudits for being this sort of oozing class player. But for me, he does a lot of things wrong. And when he does have a good game, he is good. I'll admit that. But I don't think he's consistent. And I don't think he's a world beater. And that's my honest opinion. That is my unpopular opinion of the day, that I don't think Bentancur is all that.
I think the thing with him, and I think it's what I've clocked, is that when he plays well, Tottenham tends to play well. And that is kind of a correlation I've noticed. And so when he's really not playing well, it's usually when Tottenham are doing really badly as well. And so we kind of picked that out, I think. But I think when Spurs are flowing, it's usually, I think, because he's been quietly or, shown to be fantastic in midfield. So last night wasn't his best game at all. I don't know what he's doing for the penalty. I question the penalty as much as it's a silly tackle. His challenge doesn't actually impact what happens at all. The cross has already gone in. If someone headers that over the bar, it probably doesn't get given. So I question it slightly. It's a stupid tackle. I don't know why he's making it on the flip side. I thought his general game was pretty poor. And I thought when Gray came on, who we'll get on to, was very good. But I still think he's a top player. I want him to sign a new contract. I want him to stay, and I want him to be a part of it because I think he's experienced enough. I think he's, as I say, when he's fully fit, which I think he's starting to get back to that point now, or is getting to that point now, or is at that point now. I think we have a really good player on our hands, and I still believe one of the best sort of 6'8" in the Premier League.
Guys, let us know what you think on Bentancur. We won't spend too long debating this point. I think Frank and I could probably have a debate on this for an hour. But guys, one in the chat if you think Bentancur is a class player. Two, if you don't think he is all that like me. But I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't think he's as good as people think. I really don't. And he's clunky and he's slow. For me, Paulinho is a much better player. Simon Cohen saying, "Evening, boys. Our forward line is absolutely pony." Agreed. He said, "Just try Johnson at the 9." I mean, Johnson on the wing is just. I mean, he's just not it. Kev Williams, hi lads, how's it going? Not too bad, mate. I just want to give my view, please. Anyone saying you can't blame the pitch does not make no football. That pitch makes the home team top dogs in any game. No pro teams have AstroTurfs. AstroTurf should be banned, in my opinion. I saw a photo, I don't even know if it was from last season, of the Bodo corner of the pitch, and it looked like the carpet had all rolled up. And people were giving me pelters on Twitter saying I'm engagement farming on an old picture. Number one, I don't even know if it was old. And number two, it's still the Bodo Glimt Stadium. I'm sure it hasn't changed much for 5 months, and it's still shit, just to put it quite bluntly. Richarlison and Johnson are not good enough for Spurs. I think they need to be replaced. I think we can all agree on that one. And Bentancur getting his no contract, taking his foot off the gas. And big up, says Ghosted. Big up, guys. Make sure you are please helping us. Quite a stream today. I think people are a bit sick of Tottenham by the sounds of things, but please do make sure you are hitting the like button, turning on the notification bell, and subscribing if you are new. That really does help us out. But Frank, we're going to get into we'll talk about the general flow of the game. And actually, the first half against second half was night and day. First half, we were absolutely dreadful. I think we had 37% possession. And in the second half, we had 63%. So it really did change half on half. But then again, at the start of the second half, we were also dreadful. And Porro got absolutely skinned twice for the goals. Frank, just looking at these stats, I think, like you said at the start, I think we're lucky to get a draw out of that game, mate.
Yeah, I mean it's not great viewing. I mean, you could argue, obviously, I still think we're lucky to get a draw out of it. You could argue that a penalty is 0.8 of that expected goals. You take that out, and the game was quite an equal sort of game, which is amazing, really, in terms of the chances that we created. Obviously, the Bentancur one, which is probably quite high, which was a goal and disallowed, that obviously doesn't count because the move was disallowed. So I think the game was, in terms of the chances we created, was probably more even than the numbers maybe suggest. I think on the flip side, though, the actual game itself, we were really poor and quite a way off Bodo Glimt. And listen, they're a good side. They're there on merit, as every team in the Champions League is, and it was never going to be easy. They have an unbelievably good home record. They are in the peak of their season, whereas we were only quite new into the season. So it's maybe getting really sort of firing is taking a little bit of time. They're in a good place. I think they're a point off the top of the league with a game in hand, so they're in a good place. They're a good side. They've got some good players, and there was a few of them last night. I mean, that Berg in midfield. I think there was Evian, I think, as well in midfield, like the bottle of water. He was pretty good as well, and so they were a good side, and we made them look maybe better than they are. I think we maybe gave them a little bit too much respect, but I also don't think we've been played off the park by a team that are. I don't think we've played off the park, and I don't think we've been played off the park by a team that are nobodies.
No, I agree, mate. They're not a bad side, but it's like, come on, man, we should be winning this game. We should be winning this game. Well, if anyone fancies messaging Ayushi here, then let us know. We should make a bloopers segment, mate. The stuff that happens on our streams is just interesting, isn't it? Just got to put that comment out. Never a dull stream in Spurs related. I just saying, big up, guys. It is concerning. Excuse me. How many chances we are conceding? That left wing Jorge was dangerous. He got both goals, didn't he, Frank?
Yeah, he was pretty good. Porro was just dreadful.
Yeah, let's talk about the key points, guys. We're going to pick out some points, but Frank, who absolutely loves Richarlison, has picked out a stat about Richarlison. Go on, Frank. I'll let you take a quick 2 minutes talking about Richarlison. Go on, and then, guys, little teaser before you'll think we're not going to get into some more tactics. This is what we got coming up. This will be good fun. So stay tuned for that. Frank, just quickly on Richarlison.
Yeah, I want to read something. I saw it on Twitter earlier on. I don't know the origin of it. I think it's come from a Spurs forum. I'm not 100% sure. And if the person who wrote this is somehow watching, then I apologise. But they wrote about Richarlison. They said, can we please stop talking about a lack of service to him? The best goal scorers in the world are not just the best because they have the most accurate shooting, but it's almost because in all cases, they take the most shots. How they get to those shots is what makes them so good. A forward who is faster than his opposition defenders can burst past them and find space to be picked out. A forward who is bigger and stronger than the opposition defenders can bully them and win headers when you cross it in. A skillful forward can dribble past defenders or manoeuvre the ball to create a chance out of nothing. Any sort of combination of those things, you get someone who is lethal. Richarlison is none of these things. So he only gets chances when the opposition defenders make a mistake, have a lapse in concentration, or the ball bobbles to him in a scramble. And simply, that is the truth. That is the most factual. He is. I'm probably going to stop being so polite now. He's useless. To put it nicely, he's the guy is incapable. He doesn't work. He doesn't run. He doesn't. It's the very basics of trying hard and she's bloody back. The very basics of trying hard and running and putting in effort is completely obsolete and not there. Because he would have had more touches if he worked harder, right? You look at when we scored against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup last year and Solanke scored. Bergvall scored and Solanke went running down the channel and he did it so many times. He picked up the ball, he played it back and we ended up scoring from it. And he worked so hard. Richarlison does none of that. I think we probably all have a love affair with him because he does a funny dance when he scores 3 times a season and he posts funny things on Instagram and well and truly, he is a guy who costs 60, 65 million pounds. He's on 100 plus grand a week or 90 grand a week, whatever number he's on. And he is a waste of time. He's a waste of time. I said it in the summer. I got pelters from comments and things saying that I was wrong and that we'd find out the real him this year. I think, as I said, history told you that he'd had 2 years at Tottenham that had been 2 years at Spurs, 3 years at Spurs that had been 3 years.
2022.
Yeah, 3 years at Spurs that had been totally rubbish, all in all. He'd played 29% of Premier League minutes in that time frame, which bar, obviously, Kane was there for a bit, so I guess maybe it was slightly higher. But all in all, it's a disgusting number. And sadly, he's just not very good. And I mean, the comment there is probably quite a good about, him. Why was he better at Everton? I think simply because at Everton, he sort of threw himself around a bit, and because he does the falling over and stuff, and he wins free kicks and all that sort of nonsense. I think he probably looks a better player in a worse side. I think once you put him into a side that wants to compete at the top and therefore needs quality and high quality of that, I think he's completely out of his depth, to be brutally honest.
Guys, let us know what you think on the chat on Richarlison. Give us a 1 if you agree with Frank that Richarlison's not good enough. Give us a 2 if you disagree and you think he is good enough. I don't really have much more to add. I think probably you're being slightly harsh, but I also think he hasn't been good since that Burnley game. He did all right against Man City. He had a good game against PSG, but since then, he's kind of gone back to his former ways, and I don't think he's quite the class we need. I think the only thing he really is good at is holding the ball up and sort of, creating space for the wingers. But unfortunately, we've got crap wingers as well. And I don't think he's holding the ball up well. And I think he's been pretty lazy. Normally, he's pretty good at his press. I don't think he's running around like he normally does. I don't think he's creating anything. I don't think he's really a threat. You could argue he's involved in the second goal, but it's come off the defender. I mean, he's kind of helped him anyway, hasn't it? So I don't know about Richarlison, guys. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments below. Okay, that is our answer to that one. Logan saying, good evening, fellas. Hope you're both well. No words for yesterday's result. Only positive-ish thing is so far we've got a lot of draws. Vic needs to be benched. He has been woeful. I want to talk about Vicario as well, because I feel like I've said this since the summer as well, Frank. Every time he gets the ball, and we saw it again last night, he can't use his feet, Frank. I think I'm a better footballer with the ball than Vicario. Like, every time he gets it at his feet, he does this stupid thing where he takes ages. He'll start sort of ball rolling it, or I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then he's booted it, given the ball away, and they scored from one of them. And it's I mean, the pass wasn't good from Van der Ven. I remember it was a pass back, but we need a keeper that's good with his feet, and he is not good with his feet, Vicario, and he's having a mare with shot stopping at the moment. So I would argue, as I said a couple of weeks ago, his position is under threat. I'm sorry, Frank, it is. Kinski is knocking on that door for that starting 11 place. I don't want to hear anymore that Vicario is clear of Kinski by miles, because he's not. The gap is as small as it's ever been, Frank.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he just, as I said the other day, Kinski's sort of slightly wider and more commanding, I think, in terms of his build, and he's slightly broader. And I think that's positive because, let's say, he's slightly more commanding of the area and a bit more of a threat when you're dealing with corners and things. I think that he is pretty poor at. His shot stopping, Vicario, has been something that has sort of carried him through at Spurs. And the rest of his game is pretty poor at that. I think now, though, we're seeing what happens when you buy a £17 million goalkeeper, right? And that's in no disrespect to him. It kind of is. It's like, you bought a goalkeeper at £17 million. Raya cost Arsenal 40 in the same summer. When you spend less money, you tend to probably get worse players. I realise Kinski costs 10 or 11, but he's also a real young kid coming out of a league that, probably there isn't much sort of traction around. So it's quite different. But Vicario is playing like a goalkeeper who costs £17 million. He saves, he makes some decent saves at times. He's a decent goalkeeper. He's a pretty decent shot stopper. By all accounts, I mean, he's probably actually, when he's playing well, one of the better shot stoppers in the league. But he's on a dreadful run of form at the moment. And as I say, the rest of his game is pretty woeful. The rest of it, the rest of his game is a bit like a Sunday League sort of goalkeeper, and that's quite an insult, but quite true, sadly.
Yeah. Ogala Rab on Facebook, big yourself up, mate. Always in here. Love your support. He's saying No wonder no team wants Richarlison. Darren thinks that sounds like a phone number. Press 1 to see the management. Press 2 for a refund. I would press 2. Absolutely, guys. Keep the interactions coming in. Every time I see him, I start pulling my hair out, says Logan. And Ghost is in here saying, I'm not a fan of Vicario. Let's get into... just firstly, we want to talk about Archie Gray. And we want to talk about Xavi Simons, who did all right when he came on, but in my opinion, he's still looking a bit lost. Let's quickly talk about Archie Gray, and then let's talk about the passages of play, Frank, because I want to get into that as well.
Yeah, I thought Gray looked exciting when he came on. It was obviously a big part of the equalising goal. I think his cameo that he had against Brighton, I thought he looked pretty good as well. I'd like to see him get some more minutes. I thought he was pretty decent against Doncaster the other day as well. I want to see him start getting some more minutes. It might be a good thing to maybe bring Bentancur out of it for a little while. Obviously, you've got one more game before the international break, so I think he'd probably go what he trusts the most on Saturday. I think those two will start in midfield, Bentancur and Palhinha together. But I want to, after the break, I want to start seeing Gray start actually given a proper chance, because I think he's a good player, and I think he deserves to be given a proper chance.
Interesting, mate. Interesting. I thought Archie Gray did really well. He did well for the second goal, didn't he? His shot was basically rebounded, and then it was an own goal, wasn't it? So he did really well. I thought he was really positive when he came on. I thought he actually, when I saw him coming on, I'm thinking that's not a good attacking change, but he actually did well going forwards, I thought, Frank. So yeah, I was happy. Excuse me, I was happy with that. What else? Yeah, let's talk about this, mate, because I know we'll spend a bit of time talking about it. So I'm gonna kind of give the mic to you for a little bit, talking about some of these passages of play and some of the pieces you've identified. So, guys, this is your sort of Monday night football style analysis, match of the day style analysis that we want to bring you more regularly. Guys, please do smash a like button if you enjoy this type of content. Make sure you are subscribing if you are new, and turn on the notification bell to never miss a streaming, guys. Really appreciate everyone that's in here. The likes of course, Ghosted, Ogala, Archer, Ad, Rich, always in here, Kev, Simon, and the likes. Archer, really appreciate all you guys, and Darren. Frank, do you wanna take over here?
Yeah. So this was we're going to go in sort of chronological order, right? So this was the 3rd minute of the game. And this was, I think it was Berg on the ball. Get rid of that. Sorry. I think it was Berg on the ball there, right? And it's just like structurally poor, right? And I'm not saying Thomas Frank so far structurally isn't pretty good. It was poor at times last night. This is your midfield. I mean, look at the space that he has to run into. That's your midfield 3, right? Johnson is kind of coming back, so is Odobert. Richarlison's not even in the picture, which is a concern in itself. The back 4 is still in a line, but look at the space he's got. I mean, he can either find a pass. He could either find a pass in there. He could, or even there. You've got a pass in there. You've got a pass in there even, because Berger's not that tight to him. I mean, he's probably the weakest option of a Bodo Glimt player. Or he had the shot which Vicario tipped over the bar somehow. I mean, it just made a complete mess of that as well. But as I say, it's really, really poor. I mean, the distance there between those two. I mean, those two are almost holding hands in Sarr and Bentancur, and I mean, yeah, I realised the double pivot and everything, but one of them's got to close him down. It's really poor. It's really bad, and we were lucky that the goalie didn't throw one in the back of the net after a couple of minutes. Moving on from that, 1 second. There we go.
Trust it now.
Yeah, there we go. We're slowly getting there. First chance of the game for us, and Bergvall did really well over here. A little outside the football. Richarlison is making a pretty decent run. You kind of expect him to probably score. Makes that run in there. The ball obviously comes across. If I sort of comes into an area about there. The defender sort of slides in front of it. It's all right defending, but he doesn't actually touch the ball. I think Richarlison probably puts him off, and that is the reason he scores 8 goals a season and not 25 goals a season, because he was, not on his toes. He wasn't particularly ready, and it's a pretty dismal finish. And he should have put us 1-0 up in sort of the first 8 minutes. Obviously, didn't happen. And eventually they sort of continue to sort of break us down. Bodo Glimt have chances. This for me is probably the worst of the game. I think it's disgusting. On the ball here, I want to say it was that Horde who scored twice. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with that. I don't actually know what I'm watching here. Bentancur, Jed Spence, Kevin Danso, Brennan Johnson's there, Saar, Van der Ven, and Porro. The line they've got going on is fantastic, but the worst part is when you move to this next slide, none of them close him down. Right? There's a second in that. You can see on the time. There's a second in that. He takes another touch forward. This is right before the shot. None of them close him down. Johnson's the only one that remotely does. Bentancur, Pape Sarr. I don't really know what I'm watching. Bergvall for some reason's up here. So again, we're talking. If I one sec, what is it? We're talking that that's your midfield. And I think it was, as I say, Hodge has got space in the middle of them. It's utterly insane to be brutally honest with you. He obviously puts the shot wide and whatever, but this, whatever this kind of weird line is that's going on is a problem. Like, that is really poor. And I'm all for Brennan Johnson being back and defending. That's fantastic, and I'm very grateful for that. But someone's got to close him down. I have a real problem with Saar and Bentancur. It's especially Saar, because he's within closing down sort of distance. The pair of them, and Bergvall actually. Sorry, I should comment on Bergvall as well. All three of them, it's really, really bad.
Just quickly, Frank Ghosted saying we have no patterns of play and really struggle to open teams up. Hopefully we start to see it in the next few months. I completely agree. There's no it doesn't seem like there's a game plan at the moment. The players don't seem to really know each other. They're not very well drilled or gelled. It is quite a big concern. Darren's also saying this reminds me of how he defended against Bayern in pre-season. It was absolutely shocking. And Kev's rightly saying, hit the likes, guys. I've just looked at the like count. I'm nearly fainted. There's 10 likes on this live stream. That is absolutely terrible from you lot. I'm going to be honest. Please make sure you're smashing the like button, guys. It is easy. It is free. And turn on the notification bell while you're down there, and subscribe as well, guys. We put in a lot of effort to bring you all the patterns of play, talking about patterns of play, all the sort of tactical breakdowns, all the content and the stats. Please, guys, just hit the like, hit the subscribe, and comment if you're watching offline as well on some of this stuff, and obviously subscribe. Sorry, Frank, back over to you. Sorry, Ghost is saying Frank's done a great job of making his team a stable team, but who aren't losing many games. We were terrible last season. There's still question marks over midfield and our attack, but he has been here 3 months. Exactly, give it time. I do agree. But Gray was indeed a game changer with Paulinho, and Vicario flaps at everything, says Archer. Always punches you straight back into the danger area. He can't catch a cold. Lucky him, because if he's got this cold, he doesn't know what's coming. Frank, back to you, mate.
I just want to say as well, very quickly, because it's come out in the last couple of minutes, that Solanke had surgery this morning, minor surgery. He said, I know Thomas Frank said it yesterday, but he's had surgery this morning apparently, which is not great. I mean, I thought he'd already had it. The fact he's only had it this morning means it's even later, and it means I have to put up with Richarlison for a little bit longer, which might make me go insane.
Yeah, I've just seen that. It says, hi everyone, quick update about my current situation. This is Solanke. The last few months have been very frustrating, as I've tried everything possible to try and push through the ankle injury before taking the option of surgery. None of this managed to solve the problem, so we had to go along with minor surgery, which I underwent this morning. It was all successful, so hopefully I'll be back on the pitch in the very near future! Thank you for all your love and messages. So it looks like Solanke could be out, well, for at least a few more weeks, you'd imagine, maybe up till Christmas, Frank. We'll keep an eye on that one and bring you the latest, of course, when we know more. Guys, if you want more short videos, sort of talking about, various bits about Tottenham injury news, press conferences, tactical breakdowns, please do. I know I've said it 2 minutes ago. Hit the like button, turn on the notification bell, subscribe if you're new. Frank, back to you on this tactical stuff.
Yeah, so this is another one, right? With 42nd minute, and if it lets me zoom in properly, a chance in there for their number 9, who I can't remember. Their number 19, who's one of their attackers. I can't remember his name. It's poor from me, but the defending again is just abysmal. It was what?
Sondre Bunstad Fett.
That's the one.
I'm surprised you didn't know that, mate.
The defending is appalling. Just disgraceful, right? He ended up skying the shot, and it doesn't mean anything. The defending is absolutely abysmal. I don't really know what I'm looking at. Again, Jed Spence is over here. He's obviously been skinned. He's now walking back because this whole nonchalant gimmick that he has running seems to mean that he doesn't have to defend when he gets bored.
He's having a shock, by the way, at the moment. Spence,
yeah. So I mean, dare I say, since he got picked for England, maybe he's got slightly too big for his boots. But I'm just throwing that idea out there. It's a pretty easy ball, by the way. I haven't got the whole thing. Obviously, copyright we can't. But it's a pretty easy ball. The guy does well out here, and it's a decent ball in. But it's not a difficult ball. Spurs make it very easy. The concern for me again is the midfield. They have two options here. If the ball was to get blocked out or whatever, or they could lay it off or whatever, that's a concern. I like the fact that Brennan Johnson is back. I think that's good. Whether or not he's actually making much of an impact back is a different argument, but he's back. And so that in itself is more positive than what we've seen from him. But again, the midfield, it's just so poor. I mean, again, two people, you should not be letting people in that space in between you. And you've got two of them inside the penalty area. I mean, it's a real concern. Bergvall, and I'm not blaming Bergvall. Bergvall's a top player, and I thought he had a decent game last night. But Bergvall should be here. Bergvall should be, if it works, Bergvall should be there, right? You should be occupying that space.
Yeah, especially if there's a rebound to one of those two players, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mickey van der Ven seems to be blocking something over here. I'm not sure if he expected the shot was going up here or something, but I don't really know what he's doing. Danso's probably one of the only few in that picture that's actually in the right position. And obviously the chance goes over, but it's just poor again. You move on 1 second if it's going to let me. That's the wrong one. There we go. This is
sorry, Frank. I got to stop you, mate. We've got a lovely super chat, which is very generous from Kev Williams. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you also for your kind words earlier. That does mean a lot. Frank and I are putting a lot of effort into the channel, as you can see, like with these tactical breakdowns. Frank's doing a great job. But he's donated $4.99. Really appreciate it, mate. He says players sign for Spurs, then they just get injured. Players never having ops seem to need them after signing. What is going on? It perplexes me. Spurs fourth ? I'll tell you what, Kev, I'll take this one to start with. There is so many injuries happening for players. Kolomani's injury record on the whole, I'm pretty sure, was pretty good. Frank will correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he received many injuries when he was at PSG, Frankfurt, and Juventus. And suddenly he's got injured straight away, the dead legs. That's one example. Kulusevski is injury prone. Maddison is injury prone. Van der Ven and Romero have had their problems. And now we've got Solanke, who I'm pretty sure didn't have too many injuries at Bournemouth. It is now having to have minor surgery on his ankle. Sorry, was it his ankle, Frank?
Yeah.
So it's like, you do have to question it, Kev. I do agree. And in terms of your question on fourth, I don't think so, mate. I don't think we're going to get. I think we'd be lucky to get top 6 this season. Frank, I'm going to hand you for your verdict on these 2 points. But Kev, that's very generous of you, mate. Thank you very much. He's saying sorry. It was meant to say never having ops. Yeah, no, I got it. Don't worry, mate. But yeah, very kind. And guys, I know it's not a huge stream today, but there's a lot of you guys still commenting. So people like Kev that bring in a super chat, create new talking points, stop the stream. And of course, it really does help us progress and push forward as a channel. So that is really, really generous of you, mate. Thank you so much. Frank, what do you think on this, mate?
I saw, I think it was Sean, put a tweet out earlier on. I saw someone, I'm pretty sure it was him, put a tweet earlier on and saying that maybe this whole dead leg thing is just a total excuse for the fact that he's not fit enough, and he's a long way off, and that he just actually isn't ready. And I imagine it probably is, and it's probably something I haven't really sort of contemplated. He looked so unready. I said this when he came against Villarreal, that he looked like he hadn't played in months, which he obviously hasn't. He looked that way. And I think this is probably all one big cover up, and so it's not good. It's not good. As I say, we're constantly sort of strung along, believing that players are going to be okay, and Solanke will be fine after the international break, and we're talking he's just had surgery before the next one. So it's all a concern. It's all a concern. In terms of Spurs fourth, I think there's a possibility. I think we need to not drop silly points, of course, but I think the quality around us is probably a little bit lower this year. In terms of Chelsea, look like they are dropping points. All of the top three, I think, look like they can and will drop points. I think top five is probably quite realistic. Maybe top four might be difficult, but top five certainly realistic as a target for the season. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thanks once again, Kev. Really appreciate that, mate. That is very, very generous of you. Much appreciated. We will go back and talk. Sorry, I'm gonna. Some of the players need a good wake-up call, Logan. I agree with you. Vic is an emotional Italian. He is the last person you want for calm. This reminds me of how we defended, in pre-season. Absolutely. The training ground is cursed, says Darren. It's got to be. I'll take top six in an FA or Carabao. I'll take that all day long, mate. I'll take 10th in a Carabao. I'll take 10th in an FA Cup, mate. Beggars can't be choosers. We need to keep the trophy run going, keep the good vibes going, because these good vibes get killed very quickly. As you can see, there's already a bit of an irate fan base, bit of a divided fan base, which we don't want. And Archer's saying there really is not something not quite right about our club's injuries. I completely agree, guys. It's a really good point from Kev. Really, really good point. So thank you, Kev, for changing up the talking point, guys. I can see there's around 60 of you watching across all socials. Guys, quick plug. Please make sure you hit the like button. It's super, super important. Please turn on the notification bell and subscribe. And if you are, of course, in a position to do so, like Kev just did, whack in a super chat to change the direction of the stream, get your thoughts on. And, of course, the membership option is in the top of the description down below. We have around, I think, 10 members at the moment, and we want some of our members to come on the channel and have their say, to mix things up and create talking points on the channel with us. So if you want to come and have your say on this channel, you know what to do. It's $2.99 a month. You can do it for 1 month. You can do it for 10 months. It's entirely up to you. It really does help us out. It's down below in the top of the description, and there's also a join button somewhere as well. So please do whack in your super chats and memberships as well as the like button, subscribe button, and noti button, which is free. Kev's saying, January, what do we need, lads? I think a left winger. I think a striker. I think another fullback. I think probably a left centre-back. And I think maybe a goalkeeper, mate. I'm going to be brutally honest. What is the priority? I think we'll do a video on that, mate. But I think there's all sorts we need, including probably a medical team. But I'm going to go back to Frank's analysis now because I'm just conscious of time. And I know Frank's got a few screenshots. Frank, how many more screenshots have you got?
I think we've still got 6, possibly 5 or 6.
Right, let's go to the next one.
So this is the first goal. I mean, it's just really bad. It's just really, really, really bad. All from everyone, from everything.
I know what you're going to highlight here. I mean, what's Porro doing? Who's that? Is that Johnson next to him?
Well, Johnson almost looks like he has glitched. He just keeps going. He just keeps running.
Why is he there?
He gets so badly sent. Porro does well, but Johnson gets awfully sent. Like as I say, it looks like a glitch. He just keeps going. Again, I'm questioning what is going on. Sarr, Bentancur, where on earth is Lucas Bergvall in this? I don't know where he's gone. That is a concern. I know he's sort of the most attacking of the three, but you need your midfield in the same picture when you're defending something, you'd like to think. And unless, if that's not the case, then you need Richarlison back here in this area, right? If Bergvall's maybe had to run the length of the pitch, had a chance up front and got taken out and he's sort of limping back or something, then Richarlison gets back. Whatever's happened, right? He's not there, and that's a concern. So whoever, one of those two should be in this area here, and they're not. I can't even see Mickey van der Ven unless I'm going mental. That might be him behind Jed Spence. I don't really know why there's two of them marking the same man then. Again, Pape Sarr doesn't close him down. No one closes him down. And I think once he got into that position, that position there, I think I probably could have scored that. And I'm a pretty bang average footballer. Well, certainly had a decent go, because it's just awful. They've just let him walk through and given him a clear goal scoring chance. And that in itself is really, really, really poor.
Agreed, mate.
If we keep going, if it's going to let me change the photo, that's not what I want. 1 second. Like, my other AirPods just died as well. It's good timing. Give me 1 minute.
All good. Just
to take over for 1 sec. Just
yeah, all good. All good. Just a quick one.
No,
Newcastle are beating Union Saint-Gilloise 2-0 away at half time. And I know there's more Champions League games to come tonight, but I'm sure Frank was going to analyse this one in a bit of depth to do with Bentancur and why he's absolutely just completely clattered the Bodo number 15 out of absolutely nothing. I think the ball was given away. I can't actually remember who it was. It was just completely sloppy. Someone in the chat will remind me who gave the ball away. And Bentancur just comes across after the ball's gone in. I think we dealt with the danger from the cross, and then he's just like he's scissored him. I mean, what is he doing? I don't understand Bentancur. This is why, Frank, I have my reservations about him, not just from his performance yesterday, but in general. I think Bentancur is honestly such a hot and cold player. He does some stupid things. He makes a lot of mistakes. Yes, he can ooze class at times, but honestly, I don't think he's as good as people say. I'm going to say it. I think I've said it before. Guys, let me know what you're thinking on Bentancur. But Frank, I'm sure we'll break this one down. You back, Frank?
Yeah. I just think it's really bad, and it's what I said against Wolves, that we just do stupid things at stupid times, and it makes us have stupid results. And not that yesterday's result was that bad, but it's just, I don't know, they missed the penalty, but it's just so preventable. It's like, he puts in a cross, I get he tries, but I don't, first of all, and I want to make this, I don't think that actually should be a penalty. In terms of, by the letter of the law and the rules, it is a penalty. But in terms of the fact that I think the game's gone so far that one way, I don't think that, given he has not impacted it whatsoever, the cross, as I say, if that had found someone at the back, if that had found someone at the back post and he headed it over, that would never be a penalty. And that to me is mental. The cross still hit the same area. Bentancur has not actually affected that whatsoever. The fact that that's a penalty, and then I use the Gabriel handball at the weekend wasn't. I think we've gone so far one way, and I'm very confused. But
I'll be honest, I don't agree. I don't agree, mate. For me, like, I get what you're saying, because it didn't really lead to anything. You're saying, and technically he slid after the passage of play. You're thinking that it's not involved in denying a goal scoring opportunity. Is that what you're getting at?
Pretty much. And I just think it's a challenge. Listen, it's a silly challenge. And the second nowadays you jump in like that in the penalty area, you're going to be in trouble. And
that's what I was going to say, mate. He knows that going. For me, I can't defend it because, and I'm not just saying this because I was having a go at Bentancur before the game, but like, for me, you're an experienced player. This is something I'd expect from Bergvall or maybe Sarr with a bit of an experience. Bentancur knows that an 18-yard box is a penalty box. And if you go to ground and you tackle the player horrendously or don't get the ball, the chance of being a penalty is very likely. And for me, I understand that it happened a bit like the cameras wasn't even really on it, were they? It wasn't until you kind of saw the replay you knew what had happened. But for me, to going down like that, he's an absolute moron. And we got what we deserved. Yes, he missed the penalty. That is the let-off for me, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. As I say, that he is an absolute idiot for flying in like that in the penalty area. You are stupid for doing that. I'm not defending him. I'm more questioning the rules and the actual why that is a penalty. But I'm saying that it's completely brain dead from someone that is should be in the peak of his powers and cleverer than that. I think it's a very, very silly mistake, but worth sort of drawing up on. But
just a couple more comments. Round table talk. Big up, mate. I haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're well. He's saying if it was on grass, he doesn't slide like that. And the shirt pull was BS as well. He doesn't slide that far and fast. I mean, Logan saying completely agree, James. Very rookie mistake by an experienced player in Bentancur. This is the point. It's like, this isn't even like a young player. Bentancur's 27, 28. Like, what are we doing? Like, come on, let's not try and defend this. It's just a stupid moment. Ghosted, Tell, Odobert, Richie Johnson, Solanke, Bentancur, Davies, Vicario, Zuma all need to be sold. I pretty much agree. The only one I would probably disagree on is Solanke, because I think depending how he comes back from injury, that is like crunch time, depending on if he has another good season or 2 or 3 in him. Davies is going anyway. Vicario for me isn't good enough as a first choice keeper. Tell and Odobert, I guess give them some more time, but at the moment not good enough. Richarlison, we know what we've got. Johnson, we know what we've got. I think Johnson needs to be trialled in the number 9, because at the moment I don't think it can get any worse with Richarlison. Or maybe try 2 up front. Try Johnson and Richarlison, or try Johnson and Kolo Muani when he's back. I think, that is an option. But again, we're clutching at straws, Frank. We're clutching at straws, trying to fit these mediocre players into a team that really they're not good enough to be playing in. That is part of the problem. Darren saying, I don't get this Bentancur hype. Fans are living off that one season. Mate, I agree. Honestly, I'm not saying Bentancur is a bad player, guys. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's as good as people think. And I think he's genuinely questionable at times. My kids play on a pitch like that every week, but they train on grass. It takes them an entire half just to adjust. I'm not surprised, mate. And Kev saying hot-headedness from Romero is enough for me. We don't need it from the rest of the team. I mean, Van der Ven had a shocker. I think this might have been the one that you've picked up now, maybe, Frank, or not.
No, this is the second goal. The ball you can't see. That is because Vicario has just lumped it so high up into the air. The pass from Mickey van der Ven was not great. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was, but it was about there, right? He comes across it on his left foot. He has, I know obviously that one makes sense, but he has an obsession with kicking it with his left foot anyway, which I want to kind of pick up on, not in this particular one, but he does it way too often. It really frustrates me because every time he gives it away. But the ball ends up, 1 second, sorry. The ball ends up here, he kicks it, and then next thing you know, it is all the way up in this ridiculous area up here. You can't see it, right? Jed then has to do his best to try and pick it out. He kind of lumps it forward again. They give it away. And then if I can switch, 1 second. Is it going to let me? That's not what I want. That's what I want. Bodo gets absolutely skinned. At least this time there is some form of line between your midfield. Kind of. I mean, there's not much more they can really do about this. As I say, Porro gets absolutely sent. I thought his general game last night was appalling, bar the cross for Van der Ven's goal. And it's a good finish. It's a good finish from Borges, and I'm not going to. It's right in the corner, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend it wasn't. The actual goal was quite nice. It all came though from Vicario, who then very quickly got up and went to shout at Pedro Porro and realised it came from him and quieted himself down. I wish sometimes that people would shout at Vicario half as much as he shouts at everyone else, because then maybe he would learn himself. I think the kicking is a problem. I think if you have a goalkeeper that's comfortable on the ball, he calms everybody else down. And I think Romero is quite a calming influence on the ball. Maybe less so off it, but on the ball he's a calming influence. Van der Ven isn't. Van der Ven is not as composed, I don't think, on the ball. Udogie isn't either. Porro and Romero are the best two across the back line in terms of being comfortable on the ball and composed on the ball. And Vicario, every pass Vicario makes is behind people, or it's up in the air for them to, as if Mr. Tickle could reach him, but they probably can't. And so It is poor. It's poor. And as I say, Kinski, and you said earlier on, Kinski's not very far away from coming into this now. And we all sit there and go, oh, well, actually, he's not a great shot stopper. And that's probably because of the mistake he made against Villa in the Cup and what have you. So take that out of it, and I think he's a good goalkeeper. And I think it's been very close now to see who starts playing. My hunch is that he'll play Vicario again at the weekend, because if you problem is with a goalkeeper, and where it's different to a striker or something, if you bring a goalkeeper, if you bench a goalkeeper who's just your first choice goalkeeper, you kill them. Like, you literally kill every bit of confidence they have, because you aren't playing well. If you take out a striker, you can bring them on with 20 minutes to go. Maybe they score a goal and maybe it boosts them again. It's hard to do that with a goalkeeper. So you've got to be careful. You've got to keep him in good stead and in a good mindset. Having said that, if it kind of keeps continuing in this vein, then I think Kinski's going to probably have the ump if he's not playing. So yeah, I mean, that in itself is really poor. Kind of moving on from that.
Sorry, just a quick one. Just a quick one on the goalkeeper situation. You're saying, and I don't not agree with you, mate. But like, if you need to drop a goalkeeper because they're not playing well, I don't care if it shatters their confidence. For me, if they're playing crap, they need to know they're under threat. They need to butt their ideas up and fix their weaknesses ASAP. So if you get benched as a goalkeeper, it's a massive reality check for how you're performing. If Vicario keeps making mistakes and knows that he's never ever going to come out of that Spurs team, for me, that's a problem. You need Kinski on his toes to be able to go, look, I'm ready to come in when you have had a stinker week after week after week. And for me, Vicario is getting to a point where one or two more mistakes and Kinski's starting for me. If Thomas Frank had any sense, he would do that. For me, I don't think Kinski is an incredible goalkeeper, and I think he has a lot of weaknesses as well. But if Vicario, I don't think it was Vicario's fault we lost yesterday, but the Brighton game was definitely a factor that we drew. And I think also it was a factor in another game where Vicario made a mistake. And so it's not like he's had loads to do, but he seems to be fumbling a lot of these saves. So I wouldn't be scared to drop him, but I'm not the manager. So I can't.
Playing devil's advocate, it's just for argument's sake, we come to the first week in December and then he does drop Vicario, and Vicario gets dropped in start November or whatever, and Kinski comes in and he does okay, and then he has a rubbish vein of form, and Kinski makes a load of mistakes, and then you sit there going into a tough run in December and you go, well, Kinski's on bad form. Vicario we shattered his confidence a month ago because we pulled him out of it and he ain't playing. And as a goalkeeper, as I say, it's quite tough to build that up again. That worries me, that then Kinski has to be near perfect, because if he's not, you've got a problem. And so I'm a little bit reluctant to do it just yet, I think.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, not just yet, but I mean, like, say against Leeds, he does something stupid with his feet again, or he makes a horrendous howler. How long do you give it, mate? Like, what if he makes two mistakes in the next two games? Do you just go, yeah, this is the keeper we have, or do you mix things up?
I think when you come out the international break, you probably got to make that decision. It depends. Listen, if on the flip side, if he ends up, we win 1-0 on Saturday and we're not great, but he makes 12 saves or something ridiculous, will we sit there going, he's a man reborn? So I guess it kind of ultimately depends on a few things. But I think it probably comes down to after the international break and how Saturday goes.
Absolutely. Guys, let us know what you think on Vicario. Sam's in here. Big up our pro club Zenny, Sam DaCosta. Big up, lads. Shit show yesterday, but a point's a point. I mean, we didn't deserve the point, mate, but we'll take the point. Ghost is saying even when we signed Davies way back, he was nowhere near the level of Rose. We've been doing it for years. Our players always play well in their first few games under new managers. Then they revert back to type. Gotta agree. Rich is in here. What is that profile picture, Rich? To be fair, Halloween's around the corner. It is October now. Maybe you've changed it for October, mate. Their goals were good, but we stood off so much, excuse me, and allowed them the space to shoot. Vic needs to be told straight, and Frank looks stressed. He is now realizing the big job he has at working to get rid of the Spursy mentality. And Rodney Martin, big up COYS. Guys, I can see the numbers are growing. 75 of you in the house. We are going for another 5 or so minutes. But please do make sure you are doing those 3 magical things of hitting the like button. There's only 19 likes on this stream. Can we get to 50, guys? It shouldn't be too much to ask. Everyone in here should be hitting the like button, please. Turning on the notification bell as well, which is free to do so, and subscribing. All 3 are free to do so. And if you are in a position to do so and you want to help support the channel in any way, shape or form financially, just like Kev Williams did earlier, very kind of you, Kev. Great profile picture as well. Please do whack in your super chats. And, of course, the membership option is down below in the top of the description, which is £2.99 a month. The perks, you get priority in the chat, and priority in the chat, and you can come on the stream and have your say. But we're going to get into the final couple of points that Frank wants to make on these screenshots with our great new analysis software.
They're both quite similar sort of ones. You've got the time in the top left, obviously the 87th minute. Spurs are still trying to claw their way back into it. And it's just kind of like the one in the first half that I pulled up. It's just really, really bad. I mean, he has a free shot, which he hits the top of the crossbar and it goes over. I don't really know what I'm watching again. You've got Gray there. You've got Simmons there. And who else was in midfield at the time? I think Paulinho, I want to say. Who is not even in the picture unless I'm going mental. Is not in the picture. He's just 6, so I don't really know what's going on there. Slightly concerning. Obviously, they missed the chance, but it's another good opportunity. And then if it's going to switch for me, it's not. Oh no, it's good. There you go. 5 minutes later, they do the exact same again. They carve for us again.
They nearly scored a winner, mate. Is this the one where they nearly scored a winner?
Yeah, and sort of trickles past the post. It's quite unlucky. But again, I'm questioning a lot of what's going on. Why is, I'm respect to Richarlison for getting back, but why is he actually closer to the ball and deeper than Paulinho? I have an issue with that. I have an issue with, again, Mickey van der Ven seems to be just marking the same man as the left back. Again, that's not the first time we picked that up. You look out, I mean, you've got, unless where's Xavi Simmons in this? Archie Gray is there. Is that Gray? No, that's Simmons, isn't it? Is that Gray there? Because I want to say that might be Porro back here. If that's the case, then again, I mean, that's just
great positioning.
What's going on? And so then you look at it again. Your defensive line is Porro up here, Danso there. I mean, it's a mess of a line, really. And you've got Archie Gray kind of slotting in back here. I mean, and you're 6, the furthest forward, Bar Mohamed Kudus on the pitch. I mean, I don't really know what I'm looking at, is the honest. And I think a lot of the structure so far since Thomas Frank's taken over has been very good. And I think structurally we've been sound. I think we've not given up an abundance of chances in the games we've played. I think we've been pretty good defensively and found in our foundations and whatever. Last night was, well, listen, we're missing Romero as well. That's important to know. And obviously Paulinho didn't play the whole game. Not that looked like it would have made much of a difference given what I'm kind of seeing in sort of these photos here. But to be honest, I think we were lucky to escape with a point. I'm pleased we escaped with a point. I said before the game I would have taken a point. So I don't think it's a negative result. I think the performance is negative. It's a bit of a concern, but as I say, it's a tough place to go. But some of those bits to me are very concerning. For a team that's been structurally sound, you lose Christian Romero and all of a sudden you're a mess. It is a bit of a worry to me. And I also think, and I'm not saying that he's been a major problem with this, but I think Destiny Dodgy needs to start a left back for a little while. I've grown a little bit fed up with Jed Spence of late. I wasn't massively convinced by him last season, to be brutally honest. I'm not massively convinced by him at left back at all. But I'm still not his biggest fan. I think he's decent. I think he's a pretty good backup, and I think he's a very good 1v1 defender. I think the rest of his game is a long way behind Destiny Dodgy, and now that he's fit, I want to see Dodgy playing a lot more.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Great analysis. Was that the last one?
Yeah.
Super stuff, mate. Thank you so much for doing that. Guys, let us know what you think on that Destiny Doji point at the end as well. Ghost is saying, lads, we are Spurs. We should be beating teams like Bodo easily. That performance was terrible, just like Tamworth. Absolutely. Guys, really appreciate all the support today. please do remember to do the magic 3 things of smashing the like button, turning on the notification bell if you are new, and subscribing, and comment if you're watching offline, and let me know if you watch these videos all the way through. I'll comment and reply to all of them. Thanks again to Kev for a really generous super chat. Really appreciate that. Guys, do me 2 more favors and go and subscribe to Frank's channel, which I've just put in the description, into the live chat. Please go and click on there. Subscribe to Frank. It is easy and free to do so. He needs 3 subscribers for 300. And also, guys, I went on Sky Sports last week or the week before, can't even remember now, and did an interview with Charlie Austin and the Sky Sports presenter. Please go and have a little look at that. There's the link to that as well. If you want something to watch after this, let me know how you think I did on my TV debut, if you would be so kind. But of course, guys, as I said, like the video, notifications on, and subscribe. And we'll see you very soon for a Leeds United preview where hopefully we don't have as much of an S show. Thanks again to Frank. Great stuff as well, mate. Cheers for coming on.
Cheers, mate, as always.
And yeah, guys, go and subscribe to Frank's channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you again very soon. Remember, come on, you Spurs!